I guess the government will say that's exactly what they are doing. I mean, Britain is leading the way globally with its vaccine rollout. I've been reading your document. You're talking about maximising the quantity of vaccines and the speed they're available, using the largest number of venues where possible, recruiting and training, preparing data capture and data sharing systems. I mean, the government is doing all of this, isn't it?
No, they're not doing all of it yet by any means. I think right now there's a significant number of GP practices that aren't doing vaccinations. Pharmacies, there's a limit on the number of pharmacies we're using. I'm not sure the exact number of volunteers we've trained, but it's nothing like the amount we're talking about. And then I don't think we're using occupational health workers at all. So, no, we're not at the situation yet where we're using every single available piece of infrastructure that we could. Now, I'm not criticizing the government over this. I'm sure they're now considering it. But what we've tried to suggest in this paper are very practical ways that you can get, if necessary, and if we can, if the vaccines are available, and I think they should be, because of these new vaccines that are coming on stream, we should be doing as much vaccination as we've got vaccines available. And it's, in the end, it's a logistics challenge, it's a challenge of organization. And because these new vaccines are much simpler to administer than the Pfizer vaccine, they don't require the same storage, they don't require the same observation of patients after vaccinated, they're much easier to administer. We should be able to do this at a vastly increased scale. So I'm not criticizing the government, I'm simply setting out what could be a way that you could vaccinate the entire population in a matter of weeks.
You can only give those vaccinations to people if they're produced. And AstraZeneca have said they can do 2 million a week. But isn't it down to the production? There's only a finite number you can produce.
Sure, but the question is, can you get that up? I think what you'll find with a lot of these manufacturers is that because of these vaccines, once you produce them, they've got a half-life, as it were. In other words, you've got to use them within a certain specified amount of time. I think what you'll find if you talk in detail to the manufacturers is they'll say, we can manufacture more, provided you can tell us that your system can absorb that number of vaccines. So if you take, for example, this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that's a single-dose vaccine, by the way, or it is at least at the moment predicated as a single-dose vaccine. They've got, my understanding is they've got very, very good capability, manufacturing capability, actually in Europe. They could probably produce as many vaccines as we needed. So that and AstraZeneca alone should give you the ability to vaccinate larger numbers of people. Their problem is they won't want to produce those vaccines unless you can show you've got a plan that if they produce them, you can use them.